Join me as I take on the challenge of tracking my salt intake for an entire week to see if I'm really eating too much without even knowing it. You know, salt is one of those things we often take for granted. We sprinkle it on our food, add it to our cooking, and rarely give it a second thought. But the truth is, most of us are consuming way more salt than we need, and it's having a huge impact on our health. Salt is hidden in so many everyday foods, from bread to pasta sauce, and even in some fruits and veggies. It's easy to see how it can add up quickly. And when you combine that with the fact that most of us aren't even aware of how much salt we're consuming, it's a recipe for disaster. So, today I want to talk about the sneaky ways salt is creeping into our diets, and what we can do to take control of our salt intake. Excessive salt consumption is a major problem. It's linked to high blood pressure, heart disease, and even kidney disease. And the scariest part is, most of us don't even realize we're consuming too much salt until it's too late. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of salt per day, but the average American consumes over 3,400 milligrams. That's a huge difference. And it's not just about the salt shaker on the table, it's about the hidden sources of salt in our diets. When you eat out at restaurants, you have no control over how much salt is added to your food. Even healthy-sounding options can be loaded with salt. And let's not forget about processed snacks. They're some of the biggest offenders when it comes to salt content. It's not just about cutting out the obvious salty foods, like chips and pretzels. It's about being mindful of the salt that's lurking in foods you might not even think about, like soup, bread, and even some breakfast cereals. The thing is, our taste buds can get used to high-sodium foods, making it hard to detect just how salty something is. That's why it's so important to read labels and be aware of what you're putting in your body. Even healthy foods can be high in salt. Take vegetable juice, for example. It sounds like a healthy option, but it can be packed with salt. And let's not forget about the salt added to foods during cooking, it all adds up. It's not about cutting out salt entirely, our bodies do need some salt to function properly. But it's about being mindful of our consumption and making healthier choices. The World Health Organization recommends reducing salt intake to less than 2,000 milligrams per day. That might seem like a lofty goal, but it's definitely achievable with a little bit of awareness and planning. So, how can you start reducing your salt intake today? Start by reading labels and choosing lower sodium options. When cooking, use herbs and spices to add flavor instead of salt. And when eating out, ask your server if they can prepare your meal with less salt. It's not about depriving yourself of flavor or making drastic changes to your diet. It's about making small, sustainable changes that can add up to make a big difference in the long run. Remember, every little bit counts. Reducing your salt intake can have a huge impact on your overall health, and it's worth the effort. Let's recap what we've learned today. We've talked about the sneaky ways salt is creeping into our diets and the importance of being mindful of our salt intake. We've also discussed some simple ways to reduce your salt consumption and make healthier choices. If you're interested in learning more about healthy eating habits, thanks for watching. So if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and click on the bell for more health tips and updates, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on salt consumption in the comments below.